Hello, testing, 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 testing.
Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Check, check, check.
With folded hands, four directions, Dharma, for all the mysteries through. With folded hands. This is the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the Buddhist mysteries through. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the Buddhist mysteries through. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the Buddhist mysteries through. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the Buddhist mysteries through. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the Buddhist mysteries flow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas. Sit down, fish. The fish that come. Sit down.
Okay, welcome you all to the ceremony of remembrance. It is in relation to the, as you can see here, the Buddha Shakyamuni's, the statue, giant size, with the pagoda, offered as a thank you gesture from His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan people to the Indian government and the Indian people. So this is a remembrance of that day, and so basically the tradition that Tibet House started since the former director, Venerable Dubum Tulku, is to recite sutras and so forth, recite the sutras in the various languages, Sanskrit, begin with the Pali, and then the Sanskrit, and then Hindi, English, Tibetan. Kirtish, come. Okay, so this is the tradition. Okay, so this is a part of this program where the recitations are they're done. But today what we do is that we're going to, since a few years ago, with the advice of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, are taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva pledge, which is to feel the openness and to generate a sense of openness and warmth and kindness, to embrace everyone, no matter what the other person is, as long as the other person seeks happiness and seeks to get rid of the suffering. So we should be able to see them as our brothers and sisters, and then see how to embrace to all of them equally without any the divisions. So this is the basic. This is how recently there's a little development happened, change happened in terms of observing this ceremony. So as a part of this, we're going to let us set a proper motivation where now we see that wherever in the world, there's always some strife going here and there, everywhere, whether west, east, north, south, everywhere some strife is going there. People are really struggling so hard. And then there's the clash in the name of religions, clash in the name of the ethnicities, and the political divides and the social divides. We see that all these problems are there. Just look at Hong Kong, and in America the political divides are there, and Hong Kong again how a bigger the nation is governing or ruling the Hong Kong people, and then how the clash is happening, conflicts and so forth. So we see that everywhere in the world, we see that this is happening. It's so painful. It's just totally pointless. Everybody seeks happiness. Nobody wants suffering. And the great teachers of all these different traditions, religious traditions, even the pioneers, and the great pioneers like the communist. Who started communism? Not Lenin. Before Lenin. Karl Marx. And then they say the different religious leaders, all, if you really ask them, what's the intention of you to start this different tradition, different system? They will all unanimously say that is for the good of the humanity, that the people should not suffer, that people should be happy. But on the contrary, today, in the name of these isms, systems started by these different teachers, and including communism, where the initial thought was so good, and then now today was the outcome. The outcome is so severe. It's a dire consequence there. People are suffering so terribly. So this all because it's very clear. If somebody asks you what is the cause of all this strife, very simple. While all these systems and the people who are involved in the system, they want happiness. They don't want suffering. Yet they go through suffering means that something is wrong. The approach is wrong. Why the approach is wrong? Because thinking is wrong. Because of ignorance. Very clear. It's all because of ignorance. So now it is so important for us how to ignite the light of the wisdom, the light of the knowledge, to see the world from a broader perspective, from the larger perspective, and then from a deeper perspective, larger perspective, then you see that we're all brothers and sisters. The reality is that what happened just recently, I saw a clip where there were two tribes. Who have been enemies. They've been fighting for centuries. They've been fighting, and suddenly, there was a threat coming from a bigger place, bigger nation, towards both the tribes, and the tribes coming to sense that the tribes become friends, because they realize that it is only through the unity of the two that they can fight. Otherwise, both will die eventually. So therefore, idea is that this is the human psyche, that it is all because as long as the ignorance is there, where you see a competitor there, where you see a threat, and then you fight. And there is patriotism and all these thoughts coming into being, and then there's a fight. And then once that is solved, other issues solved, then there is internal division. Again, the division will be smaller. Again, there will be internal fight. Once the other side is killed, one side within again there's a division, and finally even within the family you'll fight, guaranteed. So this is the human psyche. It's all because of the ignorance. So now it is so important that we need to build a sense of oneness of the humanity on the basis of appreciating love and affection and so forth. For example, Mahatma Gandhi is an incredible example of bringing together the unity of all the Indians. So therefore today is the Gandhi Jayanti, and let us not miss to remember the power of the Gandhiji's, the sense of resilience, sense of the willpower to bring the Indian under the one umbrella. So this spirit is not to be confined to any one group or nationality, but we can see how much we can extend it to your own family, to your own community, and then to the nation, then to the world. Just how we can do that. Okay, so this is so important. So today, the Gandhi Jayanti and the ceremony of remembrance, and then we collaborate that with the Bodhicitta, the day. So this should have a great sense of significance. And I would like to bring to your notice, to your attention, that each one of us see if you can explore in your own capacity, and if you cannot, try your best, and if you cannot, see you can discuss with others, discuss with who are more mature, who are more experienced, who are more learned, to see what is the root of all the problems, all the conflicts in the world. All the conflicts in the world, all the conflicts in the communities, smaller communities, bigger communities, national, international, why all these problems are happening. In the name of religion, in the name of, the political divides and so forth. So why, in the name of these problems are happening? This is so important for us. And then in our own capacity, see how we can contribute to resolve these problems in our own capacity. Okay, that would be very good. So with this in mind, let's say today we are doing the Aspirational Bodhisattva, the pledge, along with a very quick Tsok offering, as we do usually. So this is a reminder for us that we have to live in a spirit of compassion, in a spirit of oneness, in the spirit of the interconnectedness, interdependency, that we all depend on each other. And within the small community, the people are dependent. Within the family, the members are dependent. And within the nation, everyone is dependent on each other. And then why one should live in a fear? At the moment you create problem, pain on the other side will not remain silent. Will not remain silent means that there's going to be pain created on your side, and then you have to live in the world of fear. For example, America and the war against Afghanistan, then Iraq. So then you won't believe This is the interconnectedness. So there, in the immigration in America, immigration was so strict. Why the immigration was so strict? At one point, immigration in America is very easy. And then after this, then the immigration was so strict. You have to line up there in America, the airport immigration, you have to line there for like 1.5 hours in queue. So strict. Why strict? Because of the fear. Why fear? Because you bombarded the other side. So the other side can create terrorism. This is what is bound to happen. So no way can we expect that the other side is died and then you can just prosper and succeed. No, the moment you create pain on others, you are also ignorant, other ones also ignorant, other ones also create pain on you. So then you always have to live, dream, wake up in fear anytime something bad happened to me. It's not that others destroyed and then you are very happy. This is illusion. Nowhere in the history of humanity it happened. Okay, so with this, the idea is the only answer is all these divides, the borders and so forth, these borders and so forth, they're all just arbitrary, created by our, the illusion, we and they. So this all because of this illusion. We can all live as one family, and as the members of the same family. This is what we can. So with this in mind, and let us all, each one of us, let us be the ambassador of the harmony of the world, ambassador of the goodness of the world, ambassador of compassion for the world. Let us each one with this spirit of trying to be ambassador of a greater harmony in this world. Let us set a proper motivation to proceed the ceremony. Proper motivation, visualize all anybody who you consider as a source of inspiration for you to bring about harmony in the world, for your happiness, for the happiness of others, to let yourself live, let others live in harmony. Okay, like Buddha Shakyamuni, or Jesus Christ, or say the Krishna, or Prophet Muhammad, Baha'u'llah, and then Zoroaster and Guru Nanak. Just let us visualize all these enlightened beings who you consider as a source of unity, source of harmony for the world. And then visualize everyone, all sentient beings, along with your parents, two parents, your family members, including children, and everyone without any divide, without living in one aside. And finally, the purpose of what we're doing here is to ignite the spirit of oneness as the human family. Okay, with this in mind, let us turn to page 3. And also let us keep in mind that finally the happiness of the world, the harmony of the world, which is totally absent now. This we can expect only through the human good heart. This is the only answer. Geshe, come. Geshe, you want to sit there? Yes. Or you want to sit there with your dad? No? Good. Okay. So this is only hope. And some of us, when we are not aware of the news, global news, or the national news, we may not be aware of what is it talking about. But the reality is, if you're a little more exposed, so sometimes it's good to be aware, what is that? Ignorance is bliss. Where if you're not aware of this, what is happening around the world, then you are in bliss, and somebody talking about, so why all these conflicts, this is really very poisonous. When somebody talks about like this, you may feel a little, what is this? I'm very happy, what's the problem? Okay, the reality is no. The reality is the reality is the whole world. There's a threat to the world. It's very dangerous. Whole world. Anytime the situation, what is happening elsewhere, can hit us anytime. Okay, so with this, the good heart is the only answer. With a good heart, say in a family, in a community, say when there's one problem here, others of the community come to help rather than destroy more. Help. So this is all coming out of the good heart. And within the same family, even within a small family, say something's bad happening to one side, then the other side feels jealous. And this is divine, even within a small family. Whereas, generally speaking, say when the two parents are very harmonious, very friendly, very profound understanding, when something is bad happening to one side, other will automatically come to help. This is amazing, beautiful. So this can happen on a large scale as well. This is about, say, once we are able to see the extent this thought of the oneness of the family on the community level, on the national level, on the international level. So Mahatma Gandhi, how he becomes like the father of the nation, it's all because he is able to see this thing, the family unity, harmony, on the national level. So this is what we should be able to learn how to see that. So today what we're doing here, let us be like a seed to implant within us, each one of us, to expand thinking, the thinking from a very selfish thinking to a more broad thinking for the benefit of everyone. Okay, this is what we'll try. With that in mind, let's turn to page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddhahood, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddhahood, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddhahood, I pay homage. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subdurers expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. I go for refuge and tell me enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Choda Tsoke Chonam La Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ke Dola Penjere Sangye Drubarai Sho Sangye Choda Tsoke Chonam La Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapso Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ke Dola Penjere Sangye Drubarai Sho Sangye Choda Tsoke Chonam Chanju Bardo Age Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ke Dola Penjere Sangye Drubarai Sho. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vate Mahashramanaya Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vate Mahashramanaya Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vate Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lighted, non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the words. Pure utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times are pure obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings from miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until I enter the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, if you are attached to your self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, we turn to page 14. Page 14, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. So this, unlike how we recite the praise to the various devas, devis and so forth, so this, the praise, as we read the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, should not be thought of as, okay, I praise the Shakyamuni Buddha so that he will be happy. When he is happy, then he will bless us. This is not the idea. Idea is that the Buddha very clearly indicated that finally you are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who administers and tames one's mind and then be liberated from the suffering is the wise, is the approach of the wise. So with this idea is that finally we have to grow. We have to grow. And to make sure that at least first make yourself self-sufficient, that you do your best to get rid of all the suffering. And so this understanding, how to get rid of one's own suffering, how to get rid of one's own problem, and let us not think about suffering something else. It's a day-to-day problems that we go through. Look at the people around you. Look at the news. Watch the news and then see how the people are going through this problem. And then they say what does not come in the news, which is happening on a daily basis. Say sickness, aging, death. And they say the people going through national disasters, facing national disasters. So we see that all these problems, under such problem, on the panic, the trauma that we go through, this is so severe. Sometimes even the young people, like Keshav's age or Aryan's age, no, Aryan, shut up your height, what did you do? Okay, So these people, very young ones, even at that age, although they seem to be so naive, innocent, but then their mind can think about when I'll be separated from my mother, when I'll be separated from my father. When I was very young, I used to think like this, and it used to give me a panic, experience of panic, and then it can happen to everybody at any time, at any place. So under such situation, how are you going to tackle these emotions? So this is so important. Today, in the medical world, the people going through mental tension, stress, anxiety, all because of the development. We going to a paradigm shift of the world, of how we live, from a very mechanical world to a digital world. Everybody's with the gadgets, and then your basic instinct, to the way Charles Darwin said, to mingle with other people, that has been cut off, that has been lost. When there is loss, then what happens that what are you doing and your natural instinct, there's a clash. And this clash represents, or it manifests in the form of depression, stress. Now, they say the mental health issue is one of the greatest challenges of today's world, particularly amongst the youngsters. This is reality. So this is what is really happening. Nobody is the enforcing, or nobody is forcing these young people to go into depression. Nobody forces that. And the facility-wise, it's much far better than the earlier times. When I was young, like the Keshav's age, or perhaps like Aryan's age. So there, I remember that I sent the letters to my friend in America, and I have to wait for 1 month to get a reply. So this was the time. And today is so fast. If you are not lazy, then you can get the message back within a few seconds. So this is the facility that we have. So with this, but the mind is very unhappy. There's so much of health issues, mental health issues happening, and the number is exponentially increasing. It's all because where things go wrong. Where do things go wrong? It's the thinking, emotion. Tackling the emotions. We could not tackle our emotions well. So now, what is very important is it doesn't matter what tradition that you follow. So whatever you feel more comfortable with, find your emotions must be under control. My emotion must be under control. Or your emotion must be in control, so that you become a very sane and a happy person. That's very important. Only if you're happy, you can think of not creating problem in your family. Only if you don't create problem in your family, then you will be in position to see where the community is going wrong, where there are some riots happening, some fights happening, clashes happening. You have eyes to see that this is not correct, this is not right. And then you can think of influencing others, how not to engage in these problems, rather engage in such a way that these problems are solved. You can contribute to solve the problems. So all these finally boil down to tackling one's own emotion. This is so important. It's for this reason that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he now more than what he's interested in talking about Buddhism, is he's interested in talking about universal values. Universal values mean values which are being cherished by everyone, whether believers or non-believers, like the warm-heartedness, compassion, a genuine feeling of love and affection, understanding, gratitude, and the deeper insight into reality, how everything is interdependent. So this is something which His Holiness is now advocating so much to be introduced in the modern education system, and to be introduced in the minds of everyone. So thereby opening up their mind that my thinking is so narrow, I should think of more of the larger good, the good of the larger community, the good of the whole world. So this is the basic thought. For that matter, this is all about the thinking. It's all about thinking. And now, what we are reading here, Praise to Second Buddha, is not to make the Buddha happy. It's about to identify what are the qualities, emotional qualities, which would make you a sane, which will make you calm, peaceful, sensible. And it is these qualities, when perfected, then somebody becomes enlightened, like Buddha Shakyamuni. So it is for us to identify what are these qualities, and then see if you have some of these qualities within you. If you do have, rejoice. Some people, they go to one extreme. Others, they go to the other extreme. Some, they go to the other extreme of just whatever little that you have, you just inflate this, and it's so like you are the brightest person, you are the most wonderful person. And others, they go to the other extreme, saying that whatever good qualities that one of you have, you don't admit that, you don't acknowledge that. You just undermine that. This is another extreme. So the good qualities that you have, acknowledge it. It's so important. Only if you acknowledge your good qualities, then see, but don't remain complacent. Don't be complacent with the qualities that you have. Rejoice, but don't remain complacent. Keep in mind how to improve them further, how to bring them to greater maturity. So this is what we need to think of. And for that matter, we need like a yardstick to see what does it mean by good qualities. So these good qualities are meant to indicate there. It's not about, say, you identify the Buddha with these good qualities, Buddha will be very happy. This is what usually happens in the temples, you know. So you have some, my child has exam, right? Or we are going through business, we are running a business, and then you give 10 rupees to the temple, and then the god or goddess, whatever there, you expect god or goddess to make your business successful with the worth of crores. You actually give only 10 rupees, you only give 100 rupees, and the 100 rupees goes to not to the god, go to the caretaker of the right. So the point is that, so this is where we have a very basic, very naive idea that we make the god and goddess happy by giving some money, and then they will be very happy, then they will fulfill our aspiration. This is so crude thinking. So the idea is, no, your thinking should improve. Finally, it is, for example, say we pray to God, oh Buddha, God, please make me like Albert Einstein. We cannot. If your thinking is, if your basic mathematical calculation or physics skill is so basic, not even knowing on the 3 laws of motion, impossible that you can become Albert Einstein, even though you may pray to God, Buddha, whatever, for like 100,000 times. It's impossible. So the point is that we have to improve. We can pray, but praying not expect for external agents to give you something, but pray to seek inspiration for you, so that you grow in your thinking, that you become a more sensible person. Okay, this is very important. So with this in mind, and if you see that none of the qualities mentioned there, you don't have these qualities, then don't worry. Identify that these are the good qualities on the basis of which the Buddha Shakyamuni is being revered. I should also learn how to acquire these qualities, and become more sensible, become more warm. Right? And some people, they can be very outgoing. By being outgoing, you can benefit many other people. This is also one thing. Some people may not be outgoing. It doesn't matter. By being, staying by yourself, reflecting things, and then when you do reach out to other people can feel your weight. Some people, when they don't interact with other people so much, they remain more inward. When these people start to interact, other people can feel the weight of these people. Feel the weight, and they will take you very seriously. In fact, there's one in my monastery from my group. There's one monk who is like very, very, very junior, now very senior. After like 15 years, we were very senior. At one point, he became to some extent senior, and then so as the monks become senior, then the younger ones, they will show respect, and to some they may not show respect. To some they show respect. And then I just joked to this young monk that okay now, and then how do we know that somebody shows you respect? Is they add this word. For example, Keshav, let's say when he was very young monk, just let's say the Lokesh, it's just Lokesh, and then when he becomes a little senior, then the younger ones will be there, and then his younger ones will start to add this word, add this epithet, a label in front of Lokesh, saying that on the Gen Lokesh. Gen means like a respected one. So I told this monk, okay, now your younger ones may be adding this word to your name. He said, no, they would not care to add this word to me because I always mingle with them easily. So when you don't mingle with them, and then you stay by yourself, and you're very decent, very calm, peaceful, then the moment once in a while you mingle, they take it very seriously. Then they add this word again very easily, right? Gen Lokesh. Okay, so what I'm saying is that it is the basic personality. So where somebody otherwise would be very outgoing and suddenly trapped in the gadgets like this, means it's not good. Somebody who may not be outgoing and staying, more by oneself, and then reflecting, thinking, this is amazing. So in both ways, you can make a difference in the community. Okay, with this, the point is that no matter when you go out, when you reach out, or you stay by yourself, in both cases, we have to watch what is going inside your mind. Your mind should grow. If this mind is growing, how do you mean by growing? Where you become happier. Okay, first let me say that how do you know that we are growing? Little more complicated thing is that you're becoming more and more compassionate towards other people, and you see the things more broadly. Things are interconnected. You see that? This is a sign of your growth. Oh, it's still very vague, I don't understand it. Then to make it very simple, as you age, you become happier and happier and happier person, you are growing. If you're becoming less and less happy, more unhappy, which means that you're not growing. This is the reality. Along with this, there are exceptions. For example, some people, till the age like 16, 17, 18, you're happy with your parents, always there with the parents, and very happy. Your responsibility is taken care of by your parents. And then after a while, the tragedies happen back to back, one after the other. So there, the person naturally, it is the instinct to feel loss when you're confronted with the tragedies. Under such situation, then you may feel unhappy. This doesn't mean that you have not grown. These are exception cases. Otherwise, on a normal situation, you become everything is there, all the facilities are there. Still, you become less and less happy, which means that you are not growing. Something's going wrong. Whereas with the same facilities, you become happier, and then let's say somebody aged like 20s. Okay, the 20s is like the peak. Then 25, 50, 30 is like the experienced peak. 20 is like a naive peak. As an individual, you are very naive, but you are at the peak of your happiness. And then 30s is like experienced peak. You're at the peak of your happiness, but you have little experience of what life is. And then 40s, you are kicked out from the youth. Finish. 40s, you are finished. Then the 50s means, okay, there's no chance. Okay, then you will identify that. The 40s, you think that you are young, but the others will kick you out. 50s, you will know that you're old. So now I reached that age that I'm old. Okay, so this is what, So the point of what I'm saying is that as you age, 50, 40, 50, 60, 70, say many people, they feel that now I have nothing to do, I'm feeling lonely, the youngers will all go away from you, right? And you feel alone, then you feel, the hollowness, gloomy, which means that you have not grown your life. Whereas age-wise you're growing older, more white hairs coming, and then age-wise you are growing older, but mentally you become happier, which means that you are growing so much. You have grown so much mentally. So these are the qualities. On what basis we have to grow is on the basis of the mental qualities. Physical, just the 20s is a peak. From there, then it will keep declining, right? From that, then we'll keep declining, and then the 30s we can, do a little bit of, keep ourselves. What do you call it? Not the word. No, there's one word. There's one word. What is that? No. There's one word. In other words, not neglecting yourself. Keep yourself, fit and fine and nice looking. And then age 40, you may feel strong, then 50 is finished. Okay, so what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter. Physically, this is a natural law for everyone. But mentally is not a natural law that you should go down. It's entirely in your hand. You can keep going up. And as you grow older, like your knowledge will keep growing, your happiness will keep growing. It's entirely in your hand. But does it guarantee that as you become older, then you'll become happier? No, it's entirely in your hand. If you don't look at these qualities mentioned, indicated there, and you don't focus on these areas, then you'll become more and more unhappy. Physically, you become more fragile. Then mentally, you become more fragile. So this is reality. With this in mind, let us turn to page 14 to identify what good qualities are and to see how to nurture them further. Okay. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, perfect in knowledge and good conduct. Sugata, the supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and full awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, waste of motion like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust feel like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with the qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies the prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, battered by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, let us turn to page 31, Heart Sutra Mantra. Okay, let's read the whole Heart Sutra. This Heart Sutra is a very precious text. Okay, this is a very precious text, and so the idea, I'm going to give a very quick overview of this text. This is a very precious text in the sense that the idea was that in Rajgir, Vulture's Peak, the Buddha was presiding over the congregation, and then the Buddha went into samadhi, deep meditative state, and then the Aravalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva compassion, the 10 Bhumi Bodhisattva, and who is on the verge to become enlightened, and Shariputra, who Okay, so usually the Buddha is depicted with two monks on his two sides. The one on the right side is Shariputra, left side is Moggallana. On the right side, why these two monks are so special, so important, to the extent they are kept as, right next to the two sides of the Buddha, is for the reason that Shariputra is respected for his intelligence. He is extremely sharp in intelligence, and so the Buddha, at one point, the Buddha dissuaded the monks from reading the many of the texts, the materials of which are wrong. They read it and their mind can be influenced by these wrong thoughts. Finally, what do we do? Whether we are happy, not happy, they are driven by the cognitive thinking. Our cognitive thinking makes the whole difference. Our cognitive thinking, the whole environment is just so unhappy. Amidst this unhappy state, if you are cognitively in a correct position, you can maintain yourself happy. So whether you're happy or not, it is 100% determined by your cognitive thinking. So this cognitive thinking, this is what plays a very important role in determining the quality of your life. As a young child, say, to give a very good education to the young child. Now, education, there are two. One, just the literary education. Other one is common sense education, common sense. Finally, what gives rise to happiness? What gives rise to miseries? So how your thinking can affect these. So there, what happens is that, for example, this juice, this cold, and in Delhi now, and particularly in June, if I drink this, is so pleasant because my body requires a cold, the sensation. So this gives me the cold sensation. It gives me a very pleasant feeling. Whereas if I'm suffering, say, although Delhi is very hot, say in June, and if it is so that I'm suffering from that terrible loss of the body temperature, the health issues, terrible loss of the body temperature, then I drink the cold, it will add to the problem. It will give rise to mental pain. So the same object can give rise to happiness, can give rise to unhappiness. So that is determined by your situation, it's not the object. So therefore, we should know how the mechanism inside you that is being taken care of. And then under normal situation, for example, if somebody smiles at you, are you going to be happy or not happy? Again, it's not guaranteed. It depends on your thinking. Oh, this is a sarcastic smile. It'll make you very unhappy. Oh wow, I'm so happy he's giving me attention. It gives you so much of joy. So there, say, oh, this is a sarcastic smile against the cognitive thought process within you. Oh, this is a very loving attention given to me. Again, it's a cognitive thinking. So this cognitive thinking, we should be able to rectify the cognitive thinking to the extent that these cognitive thought processes coming to you will trigger only happiness. This is incredibly precious psychology and cognitive science. Okay, with this in mind, Heart Sutra, it is the best way by which to rectify our cognitive thinking. To put a cognitive thinking in perspective, so that the emotional feelings arising out of this cognitive thinking is only pleasant, peaceful, and the composed sense of the being. So that is the whole purpose. So with this, finally, just to give overview of what that cognitive thinking is. The cognitive thinking that finally whatever is happening is just like on my own dream. When you realize that whatever is happening is just like my dream, it's all coming from my mind, and that don't believe in it. Don't believe in it. You must gain conviction in this. For example, the quantum physicists today, they talk about how everything that you are seeing, they do not really represent reality. They don't represent reality. So what is happening is all dependent on the observer. So in other words, what we see and the reality what is there, these two are very contradictory. This is what quantum physics is talking about. So likewise, Heart Sutra is talking about how what we are seeing does not really represent the reality. So what we are seeing is, projection of your mind. Whereas when you look at things, we don't see things as projection of one mind. We see things as so objectively real. So that is the illusion, this is ignorance. So now we have to rectify this cognitive thought process, cognition, the cognitive thought process of seeing things as objectively real. That is the one which attracts all our suffering, agitation, and so forth. So we have to dissolve this. How to dissolve this? By rectifying the cognitive process, by seeing, by allowing yourself to rationally realize that what I'm seeing is just a projection of my mind. So this text, Heart Sutra, just as say the quantum physics would say that what we're seeing is just like the waves of energy. And there's nothing really tangible physical there. It's just a waves of energy. It's just and then for example, this what we say is juice. It's just, again, we live in the world of illusion. It's just constituted of, some carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, just a combination of these. None of these is juice. So when we see that, on that level, then our perception is so gross, so coarse, to see things as juice, so to see things as good, bad, this and that, and so forth. And then we magnify this further, see that I'm from this religion, I'm from that religion. These are all just, we live in the world of illusion. We'll discover that. If we discover that, then we come to realize that how the world is fighting, how the world ends up in all this strife. It's just totally like it's childish. Children fighting, and you'll feel so compassionate. Okay, and then see how to help to resolve these conflicts, unnecessary conflicts created in the name of the different systems. Okay, so with this in mind, in other words, what is being taught here is like, encouraging us, wake yourself up from the sleep from the dream of the ghost, from the ghost dream, from the nightmare of the ghost dream. Wake up, and your fear will invariably dissolve. So this is the idea. Okay, Tejal, you can start reading this.
Page 29, the Heart Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Buddha was dwelling on Mass of Vultures mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvati Putra: Shariputra, any daughter or son of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from the concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas will rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised by that spoken by the Buddha. This completes the Arya Bhagavati Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra.
Okay, we'll recite this mantra 7 times. As we recite this mantra, just keep in mind that as long as we remain in the dream, then no matter whether you, even if you don't like it, even if there is so much of fear of seeing a ghost or of seeing the tragedy there, there's no escape. We can't do anything. So if you really don't want to have the fear in this dream, wake up. This is the final solution. So when we are actually living in the world of a dream, what we are seeing is a kind of a dream. And again, it is not that we have to believe in it, or this is you have to believe in it. No, this is not the approach. That rationally you will come to realize that. How to rationally get there? You have to study them systematically. Then you realize that what I'm seeing is not reality. The moment you realize this, you are already woken up from the nightmare of seeing the ghost in the dream, or in other words, you are freed from the dream. Okay, so this is so precious. And in fact, your parents, when I was the Aryan's age, I'm so worried about my father, because I lost my mother when I was 5 years old, and my father was the only one. So I was so worried that if I lose him also. And all these are like, we are living in the world of fear. And how to get out of this fear? You also don't want to see pain in your parents. You also don't want the parents also don't want to see the pains in the children. And I've been receiving emails from my friends, and they talk about, I lost my mother, I lost the grandmother, father, like this. Is so painful to see what's going there. So, and the kind of the tragedy, the kind of the pain, the trauma that they're going through is acutely painful. So how to get over this? And the best way by which to do so is to discover that we are living in the world of dream. We just wake up, dream there too. Conventional dream and unconventional dream. Conventional dream, we come out of that every day. But from the unconventional dream, we have never woken up from this unconventional dream, because of which we continue to, as long as we're in the dream, you are the slave of the dream. The dream will dictate what you should be doing. And although you love a very pleasant dream, but it's not in your hand. The dream is dictated by itself, and then that makes your mind to behave like a puppet. So we become a puppet of the dream. Likewise, this unconventional dream, that is one which is making us like a puppet. So why should we be puppet? Wake up and you'll be freed from being the puppet of the dream, unconventional dream. So this mantra is encouraging us, advising us, counseling us that don't remain in the fears of the dream. Don't remain fears of the samsara. Wake up. Wake up from the sleep of ignorance. In these 5 steps, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswaha. Waking up is a process. Process involves steps. So wake up from the sleep of ignorance and free yourself from all forms of anxiety, stress, anguish, and so forth. Okay, sometimes this is the thinking pattern. Some people, for them, food, place, then the word holiday, they are so important. And for some, this is just nothing. Food, this is really nothing. So in fact, some people, when I meet some of those people who are so infatuated, who see the world, the fun of the world lies in the food and the place, the holiday, and so forth. They ask, oh, Geshe, you travel all over the world. Tell me which part of the world, which is the best food, and which is the best beautiful, which is the best place. I always say that these are the most boring questions. Most boring questions. What food was the difference? It's just food is just a few minutes. You eat it, finish, and you overeat, you become fat, right? And then you cannot even walk properly. And then you feel sleepy, drowsy. So it doesn't make any sense. So the point is that finally, the point is that we have the human mind, which is very sophisticated, and food, holiday, is even the animals. They're so good at it. We should prove that we are not animals. We are more than animals. We have a brilliant mind. Physical body, animals are much better than the human physical body. Say the elephants, they are so strong, and the tigers, lions, leopards, their body is so agile. And the tiny ants, they can go through all the tiny the passages. They can go. Our body is so vulnerable, so weak. But we have something which distinguishes human beings from animals. It's not the food. It's not the infatuation with the food or the friends. No, this is not the friends, food, drinks. No, this is not what demarcates the human being. What demarcates the human being is the brilliant thinking. Brilliant thinking. So this thinking is so important. So with this, it is through this thinking, thought processes, to improve the thought processes, that you can wake up from the sleep of ignorance. So it is only in this world, on the planet Earth, it is only the human beings who can wake up from the sleep of ignorance, not animals. So this is something so unique of the human beings. So this process by which to wake up from this, to discover that what I'm seeing is not reality. I'm living the world of unconventional dream. And then you're freed from the stress and anxiety of the dream. If that happens, this is the mark of you being a human being. Otherwise, just food and these things, gadgets and so forth, just infatuated with this, trapped there, you're trapped in the world. For example, my time and then my elder generation, there's no gadgets. So this is like the dream created without the gadgets. Now the dream is created with gadgets. So people are being they're being infatuated with this, which means that you are driven by the gadgets, driven by the dream. You have no freedom. You have no freedom to remain calm, peaceful, reflective, how to come out of this dream. You don't have any freedom. The dream has sucked you. So therefore, the point is that how to wake up from the sleep of ignorance and free yourself from all sufferings, all forms of sufferings. All forms of sufferings is all because as long as you're in the dream, you can never be freed from the ensnarement of the dream. You wake up and any detailed problems of the dream, you're freed of the moment you wake up. This is the ultimate answer. So this how to wake up from the sleep of the unconventional dream is taught in the form of process with 5 steps. So let us visualize that may I soon discover this dream, may I soon wake up from the sleep of ignorance, so that my tension, stress and everything will be dissolved, and that experience the ultimate happiness, and that I'll be able to share this happiness to everybody. Okay. And visualize that your parents, your children, your family members, and everyone from whatever religion, it doesn't matter. Even non-believers, let them be with you and let them get the chance. Let them have the share of waking up from the sleep of ignorance. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Page 32, 8 verse of mind training. 8 verse of mind training. Again, keep in mind that here, this the 8 verse of mind training. This is the whole purpose of this is again to work inside your mind. Within the mind, we see that there are two classes of the emotions. Emotions driven by the respective cognitive thoughts, and the set of emotions which just give you this sense of heaviness, then the uneasiness and the feeling of loss, and at times very corrosive feeling. All these they attract miseries, and they are grounded on the self-referential ego. So finally, the cognitive process determining the cognitive process which determines all this heaviness of your emotions, that is the self-referential ego. And the cognitive process which brings the lightness in your mind, a peace and the gentleness and the calmness and the feeling of the tenderness. So this all determined by the cognitive process. Responsible for that is the self-confidence. So oftentimes, what we do is that we tend to equate these two. Equate the self-confidence and the self-referential ego. We equated these two things. And then when we say that, oh, that person is so self-confident, in a way we are saying that this person is the egoistic. And then on the other hand, when we say, no, this person does not have any ego, in a way you are saying that this person does not have self-confidence. So this is how ordinary people equate these two things. But in actuality, these two are not at all to be equated. These two are to be seen as very different. One is very destructive, and the other one is extremely constructive. One is destructive, which only attracts your unhappiness, fear, anxiety, depression, anguish, whereas the other one just dispels the anguish, anxiety, and so forth, and gives rise to the feeling of the lightness. It's a beautiful experience, self-confidence. So never ever reduce your self-confidence, never and ever undermine your self-confidence. This is so important. Particularly youngsters, when you go through age like, say, the class like 11, then crossing class 12, then on the verge to join college, and from the college on the verge to graduate from the college or the university, then the jumping into the job, then all these, sometimes when you don't get the job or the college as intended, then the feeling confidence, level of confidence goes down. And then when the level of confidence goes down, what's kind of feeling like? So heaviness, unhappiness. So look, when the confidence goes down, then the feeling of unhappiness comes to you. When the confidence comes in, then the unhappiness is removed. Whereas the ego, the opposite side of the ego, can be extremely destructive. So there, it can take you to a very height of your spirit, and suddenly when you see that with this ego, nobody likes you. And then oftentimes what you intend will not be accomplished, and then there's a sudden the fall of your spirit, and then you can easily dive into depression. Okay, so therefore the point is, be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself means make sure that you are happy, make sure that you are free from the stress, anxiety, and so forth. How? The second part is be wisely kind to yourself, is how to make it happen. Wise people will make it happen, unwise people cannot make it happen. Unwise people, in the facade, in the pretext of giving yourself happiness, they give more unhappiness, more stress, anxiety. Whereas the wise people will engage in the procedure, the means by which you will actually get more happiness. What is that? What is that? So final point is, undermine your final cognitive thought process responsible for attracting all the unhappiness, anxiety, and stress. That is egoistic mind, self-referential ego. Undermine that. And then the lightness of your mind, the feeling of calmness, this will all happen because of the cognitive process of the self-confidence. Boost your self-confidence, undermine your self-referential ego. This is our job. If you're able to do that as the young boys and girls, and the elders also, if you're able to do that, no doubt you will be a very happy person. And then many people, they will see you as a very grounded and peaceful. In fact, very recently, there's one medical doctor came to see me in my office. Medical doctor, very senior medical doctor, came to see me, and she introduced herself. She said that I came here because of one person who was the tenant. And then the tenant, her tenant, used to come to Tibet house. And then she said that why I felt like coming to Tibet house to see you is because whenever I see my tenant, the tenant, she herself is a medical doctor, very senior medical doctor, and my tenant is so calm, very grounded. You don't see that the person's ever unhappy. is very grounded, stable, calm, gentle. I'm so mesmerized by this person. And one day I asked, this is what she said. One day I asked this person, how come that you're so calm all the time? You're so grounded, so calm, and there's no stress there in you. How come that you're able to maintain this? And then she talked about the studies, not in the master's course, not in the diploma course, and so forth. And then they got the interest to come to Tibet House. So she came here and said that just tell me something, and whatever you tell me, I'll do that. Because I'm living in the world of the confusion, stress, anxiety. I don't want that. And on the other hand, I see my tenant so calm, tender. This is what I want. This is amazing. So this is where, so we can change it through one way is saying, be kind, be good. The question is, how to be good, how to be kind? No, be good, be kind. Again, the question comes, how to be good, how to be kind, how to be calm and composed? No, be calm, composed. Don't be super. No, this doesn't help. Find how the stress and tension arise and how they arise. We have to know the mechanism. And finally, we have to know that how they boil down to the self-referential ego. And how to boost the self-confidence, how to undermine the self-referential ego. You see that even if, say for example, one time, that was many years ago, about I think about 9 years ago, here in Tibet House, there was one gentleman, must be in his 70s. And every day, not really every day, he was so keen that he would come to my office and sit there, and I was very busy with my work, and still he would sit there, and then he sends that I was very busy. Then he would say that, Geshe, can I come to your office? 2 minutes every day. 2 minutes. And for sure it's not going to be 2 minutes, it's going to be like minimum half an hour. Every day means it becomes a ritual, then it's lots of this much of time. So I said, okay, fine. But still he's sitting there. And then I was busy with my work. Then he said, okay, Geshe, I'll go to Lodi garden to meditation. He said, tell me. So he was actually drawing my attention. He said, Geshe, tell me one word. What should I meditate there? I was very happy he's going to leave. Then I said, compassion. So he left. Again he came back. He said, compassion works so good in Lodi garden, but it doesn't work in the traffic. Right? I said, what happens? What happens in traffic? In the traffic, so usually he's on the scooter. Then somebody cuts, my compassion is gone. So how to actually practice compassion in the traffic? So I said, okay, look, now there's the loss of compassion, loss of temper, all these things. What is, for example, what is happening on the big, let's say the computer screen, on the big computer screen, actually it's happening in the tiny chips there, in what is called the hardware, very tiny chips, everything's happening there. That's magnified on the big chips, the big screen. Likewise, all our emotions, what is happening there, all these things are happening in these very tiny chips of your mind. So there, if you know what is happening there in the chips, you can easily tackle this on the larger scale of your verbal, physical, everything can be controlled so well through tackling what is inside in going in your mind. So this, we have to know the procedure, the mechanism, how that is happening. So all these emotional states, they are finally governed by the cognitive thought process. So by changing the cognitive thought process of this self-referential ego to the self-confidence, you are the happiest person. If you're alone, you're very happy. If you're with other people, you're very happy. Whereas, if the self-confidence is not there, self-referential ego is there, when you're alone, you're not happy. When you're with other people, you're not happy. So this is how we should be able to work on. So this text, a beautiful text, 8 stanzas, they are not to crush yourself. Never ever hate yourself. It is not to undermine yourself. It is to undermine your self-referential ego. And it is to boost your self-confidence. So with this, what I'd like to share with you is that all of us, particularly the younger ones, elder ones, they have more experience, is fine. The younger ones is like below 30. What I would say is that they never ever have a sense of self-hate. Things can go wrong. Things can go wrong. Always there is a solution to these problems. Always seek the advice of elders, somebody who's more experienced, somebody who's more loving, caring towards you. Always seek the advice, and there's always the answer. Meanwhile, never ever hate yourself. Nobody can fail you. It is only you who can fail you. The moment you say, I hate myself, this is the greatest failure. Nobody can fail you otherwise. So, the point is never ever hate yourself. If you really want to hate somebody, hate your self-referential ego. Undermine this. Remove the self-referential ego, boost the self-confidence. You become such a happy person, and you can really make a big difference to the community. Okay, with this in mind, let's recite this. 8 verses of mind training. Page 32. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear all whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've helped or in whom I've placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all. May all these remain undefiled by the strains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom, are eyes blinded by ignorance. Okay, now what we do is that we will jump to the taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Aspirational Bodhisattva pledge or the vow. So this vow is a very simple ceremony. It's a very simple ceremony, and it has nothing to do with what we technical as a vow and so forth. It's very simple. It's just a very what do you call it? It's like committing yourself to become a happier person, committing yourself to become a more sensible person, committing yourself not to harm others. So this is what we're going to commit ourselves, so that only when we say build these spirits aspirations in the form of commitments, then we tend to grow. This becomes like the ground for us to grow further. So when we don't take these in the form of the pledge and so forth, then the growth is so less. It's so slow. Okay, so with this in mind, the first it has let's say, okay, first we'll do the 5 minutes breathing meditation. Then number 2, we'll do a very quick practice of the 4 seals, and then we'll do a quick practice of the 4 immeasurables, and then the little bit of emptiness practice with the wisdom to change the cognitive process of our thinking, and then finally the consolidating all the 4 practices in the form of the ceremony. A ceremony, very simple ceremony, and yet very powerful. Okay, the 5 minutes. Okay, let me give a quick instruction on this meditation, single point of meditation. So I could see that most of you are already familiar with meditation. It would be good for us to learn how to meditate. Those of us who are not familiar with meditation, it's good to learn. So for that matter, 4 things to keep in mind. One is body posture. Then number 2 is the focal point. Focal point meaning what are you going to meditate? Number 2. Number 3 is identifying the mistakes or the errors of meditation. And finally, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points to keep in mind. Number 1, the body posture. Body posture, this is very important. Okay, sometimes many of the, along with the elders, even the very young children, even they tend to sit like this, the body bend, they sit like this. This is a very bad posture. This is very bad posture, and eventually you really will have the problem. So it is advisable to always sit upright. This is extremely. If you're meditating, sit upright. If you have a backache problem, you're exempted, no problem. Otherwise, if you have no backache problem, then learn how to sit upright, body upright position. So then you can see the difference with the body bend and the body upright. Your mind will be much more fresh when the body is upright. This is so important. 1, when the body is upright, make sure that your body is flexible, not rigid. Okay. Then of course the cross-legged. If you can do cross-legged, this is very good. If not, it's fine. This is not really mandatory. And your head tilted forward a little bit, and then your eyes not closed. Particularly for a single point of meditation, keep your eyes open. For the analytical meditation, which involves analysis, like the meditation emptiness, meditation bodhicitta, these things, which we're going to do a little later. So these things with eyes closed is not really a severe problem. Whereas with the single point of meditation, always advisable to keep your eyes open. 45 degrees cast down and then ignore. And the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in your mouth. And breathe naturally and keep your teeth and the lips in their natural course. Okay. And then your right hand on your left hand with the 2 thumbs standing, joining, the tips of 2 thumbs joining, and the 2 thumbs standing, forming a triangle. The standing, 2 thumbs, not flat, standing, and the two hands on your laps in a restful state, in a very restful state, very relaxed. And this is going to be very healing for you. This meditation will be very healing, and if you are able to do this consistently, even your memory will improve. Believe it or not, even your memory will improve. How many of you have the memory problem? Lots of memory problem? Okay. The Arya, no problem? Okay, good. Memory problem? Okay. Younger ones, Milind? No problem. Okay. Problem? Okay. Pudila? No problem. But the younger ones, okay, so around like age 30 something, in my case, like age 30 something, then the memory failure started to come. And then with the meditation, it helps. It helps to retrieve the memory. Okay, so this is the body posture. Now focal point, what are you going to meditate? There are so many kinds of meditation. For example, which is very common to the very standard Hindu meditations, Jainism meditation, Goenkaji's meditation, Theravada, Chinese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, even some the Sufi, the Islamic meditations, Christians, and then the Baha'i and Zoroastrianism. We see that. So this is more like common. And then it's not that what we are doing here is the correct one and all others wrong. This is not true. All are correct, provided they come from a very standard the lineage. Okay, this one. Then, so what are we going to focus on? What are we going to focus on? Okay, 2 things. One is that we're going to breathe. Breathe in breath out, cycle 1, breath in, breath out, cycle 2. This is what we do. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. And then see, within 5 minutes, in some cases, it could be like 60 cycles, or 70, 80, 90, 100, and it should not really be more than like 110. If within 5 minutes, the breath is like the cycle-wise, more than 110, then you have to have a health checkup, because this may be some problem with your the health issue. There must be some health issues. Okay, so point is we're going to do this counting to count the breath. Okay, as we count, multitasking. Those who can do it, then you can do two things together. Those who cannot do this, you just count the breath. Those who can, then try both. One is counting the breath, and then simultaneous or multitasking is focusing on a tiny white dot between your nose and the upper lip. This is where we're going to focus on the tiny dot. So these two things should happen simultaneously, if you can. If you cannot, just focus on the breath. That's good enough. Okay, that is for 5 minutes. Then the number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. In your meditation, they can be, generally speaking, there are two possible potential errors. One is your mind is inactive. Other one is your mind is overly active. These two are the problems. Inactivity of the mind is known as laxity, and the overactivity of the mind is known as the excitement, mental excitement, and the mental laxity. So these are the two potential problems. Should you encounter with any of these two problems, then no need to freak. Just go for point number 4. Point number 4. What is point number 4? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Remedies, there are two. One is introspection, and the other one is mindfulness. Introspection, mindfulness. If you're able to apply this, then any work that you're doing, you can do it very effectively. Where, say, in some cases, people say in schools, in colleges, in universities, you study for like 4 hours. And then with this very effective introspection and mindfulness, you study for 1 hour, that's good enough. That suffices you studying for 4 hours. With the quality, it'll give you quality to your studies. So likewise, any work that you do, unless it is a manual work, any work that you do, we see that quality is there with the introspection, mindfulness. What is introspection? Introspection is where you are analyzing, where you are keeping an eye on your own mind to see whether your mind is still meditating, or your mind is distracted, or mind is in a lax state. This is the introspection. So once you see that your mind distracted or in a lax state, then apply the mindfulness. Mindfulness is to bring the mind back to the intended object of the meditation. That is the focal point. Breath or the dots. Okay, ready? 5 minutes. Okay. Next, we're going to do the practice of four immeasurables. Idea is that our mind, tackling a mind. When we tackle mind, the behavior of mind thus far is that it just flows towards the negativities and aggression, negative thoughts so easily. Whereas with the virtues, the mind does not really go so easily towards the virtues. So for that matter, first we have to learn how to stop engaging in the negativities. How to stop that. This is one part. Once you learn this, then how to expedite, how to make a mind pliant to engaging in the virtues. Two things. So the first one, technically referred to as the practice of the renunciation, is on the basis of the practice of the four seals. So we're going to do the four seal practice. Okay, ready? So this is going to be guided meditation. Make sure that we just let our mind flow according to the instruction. Try to be a little cognitively active to be able to follow the instruction well, and when necessary, try to invoke the respective experiences to the best you can, and stop ruminating over the past experiences. Stop anticipating for the future experiences. Just be in the present moment with respect to the respective instructions given. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, ready? The practice of renunciation. Renunciation means to renounce your miseries, to renounce your stress, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. It is not to renounce your happiness. To renounce the miseries, to renounce the fears of life, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries, where the mantra says, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena, they arise from their respective causes. So we have to identify what the causes are and say how to renounce these causes. So for that, the most effective way by which to do so is the practice of the four seals. The first seal, all composite things are impermanent. In our life, we have met with many people, and many of them, they already left the world. The same age as yours, oldest, even youngest, gone. And many things which once existed as the hallmark of a particular place, particular time, is now gone. These all remind us of the impermanence. Believe it or not, people who are here in this gathering, some who are very young as in the teenage, and some they are in the young adults, and some they are the middle-aged, and then the elders. What is happening today exactly happened 200 years ago. 200 years ago, these people were there very young adults, teenage, elders, middle-aged. Now, not even a single person then existed today. Everyone disappeared. And everyone, again, those people there, some of them, they're just into indulgence, some of them into strife, fighting, and killing each other, fighting, and the court cases and so forth. Now, whether court cases are settled or not settled, everything is gone. People who fought is so like they're going to be the victor. The victors, the losers, everyone is gone. This is the reality. Okay, today, what is happening today? We see as though like this is so alive, so real. But in 200 years from now in the future, guaranteed not even a single person today, 7 billion human beings who existed today, not even a single person will be left then. Guaranteed, that's 100% sure. So what's the point of all this strife, conflicts, and then anger, hostility and so forth? And meanwhile, you're not happy, others are not happy. This is the reality. So, all this impermanence, which is so visible to our eyes, to our memories, these are referred to as the gross impermanence. For this impermanence, the underscoring all this gross impermanence is the subtle impermanence, which means momentariness. And we see ourselves as so static, so firm, so stabilized, and so permanent. But in actuality, we are made of the basic constituencies, like the 6 elements, the body and mind. And both of them, the body, from the point of view of physics, our body is moving at such a fast pace, how the atoms, they move so fast. This is how our body moves. So in other words, the change that you will see over decades or over centuries is possible, where the change is happening in decades. What is the change that you see in decades is possible only if there is change happening on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute basis, second basis, millisecond basis, and nanosecond basis. So whatever change that you see around, whatever we see around, in other words, the house that we are doing the practice now, and the Delhi, the traffics, the Delhi India Gate, and everywhere in the world, all those things which are composed as particles, which are composed of some constituencies, they are all moving at such a fast pace of impermanence. This is the reality. Which means that everything, including our body, is like moving in a very fast train. This is the reality. Without these very subtle changes happening on the millisecond, the changes the obvious change that we see with our eyes cannot possibly happen. So from this we see that we are all just nothing but a manifestation, very subtle change, very fast moving change. It's so like we are all moving in a very fast moving train. And this train is moving so fast, as if like, say, somebody picked you up from the platform, train platform, and then thrown into a very fast moving train. What's your feeling? There's a tremendous fear. Where is this train taking me? This is exactly what our body is doing, what our mind is doing, what our mind and body both are moving at such a fast pace of the change. Where is this taking us? Okay, just as the train, fast moving train, where this train is taking you is determined by the train driver. Likewise, in that case, it is determined by a mind. And depending on the train driver, if the train driver is under the dictate of the terrorists, no doubt it will only take you to slaughterhouse. Whereas if it is driven by your parents, then it will take you to picnic spot. Likewise, we are driven by mind, and unfortunately our mind is driven by the terrorists, like the 2 demons, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is driven by the self-grasping, the self-centered attitude, it will never ever take us to our desirable place. It will only take us to the slaughterhouse. This is the meaning of the all contaminated things of suffering nature. As long as our mind is under the sway of the worst of contaminations, self-grasping ignorance, cognitive error, self-grasping ignorance, and the affective error, the self-centered attitude, it will only take us to the sufferings. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, people not loving you, and then you expect good things to happen, things not happening the way you intend. So this, and one moment of such a tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the merriments, the joys, the festivities, anniversaries, celebrations, and so forth. one moment of tragedy is good enough. So this is our life story. So this is how we are so vulnerable. This is the meaning of the viciousness of samsara, all contaminated things of suffering nature. Okay, that's true. That's true. I never realized it before. Now I'm realized. How can I come out of this problem? So this is well indicated by the Buddha. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. We have to identify what these causes are, and we have to rectify the causes. Unless until the causes are rectified, the results will unsee the incessantly. The results will ensue. They will perpetuate. So how to get rid of the cause? The ultimate cause of all our tension, stress, miseries, is this self-grasping ignorance. This ignorance. Okay. Now how to get rid of this ignorance? This ignorance by the very definition is a mistaken mind, it's a distorted mind which misconceives the reality. And how to get rid of this? By only through introducing the counter force. Just as to remove the darkness, it is only through introducing the light. It is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. So what is this wisdom? This wisdom is the discerning mind. Discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? Reality is that everything is like a dream. Wake up from this dream by discovering the dream is dream. You wake up. The moment you wake up, all the tremors, traumas, anxieties, anguish of the dream will stop automatically. However, millions of poisonous trees there, poisonous leaves they are growing on the poisonous tree. You cut the root, and all these the leaves, however millions of the leaves they are growing there, they'll all dry automatically. It's amazing, wonderful. So what is this wisdom? The wisdom is to realize that everything is like a dream. Everything is coming from your mind, like the projection of your mind. How can I know this? Okay, let us today meditate on emptiness of yourself. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay. And how does this person appear to you? Like a dream coming from your mind, or like a movie being projected by the movie projector? Or no, it's not at all like a movie projector. It's not like the dream coming from your mind. It is so solidified there. It is so objectified there. How does this appear to you? Of course, so objectified there. This belief is the self-grasping ignorance. This is responsible for attracting all the miseries, tension, stress, depression, and so forth. How can I get rid of this? Yes? Or how can I know that this is ignorance? This is not the reality. Okay, if this, the way it appears is so objectified, so solidified there, if this is true, then let us explore what Aranagarjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this person were to exist objectively, why not I see this person as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object to see if it does exist objectively, so independently there, independent of our mind. Going there, just ignore all what is not the self. We are only interested in this self. With this, what we see is that initially we see a very thin, going closer to this object, we first see a very thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Behind that is the fatty tissues. Of course, this is also not me. Keep them aside. Behind that, the cartilages, the muscles, the flesh. Of course, these are not me. Keep them aside. Then the skeleton, the composition of the bones, of course, these are not me. Keep them aside. Then the heart, the lungs, the brain, gallbladder, the spleen, the pancreas, the kidney, the stomach. None of these solid parts is me. And these solid parts constitute the element of earth. Element of earth is not me. Keep them aside. Element of water, the blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. The blood which is like 4 liters of blood in a body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Then the element of the fire, the body heat, 2,500 joules of energy, the body heat. Of course, that is also not me. Keep that aside. Element air, 4.6 liters of air, which we breathe in and out. Of course, this is also not me. Keep that aside. Element space, like 99.99% of a body is essentially vacuum. But I'm a solid person, and the vacuum is not me. Keep the element space aside. What is left now? Only my consciousness or the mind is left. Even this mind is also not me. I am a male. I'm a female. My mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So even this my mind is also not me. And also further, people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So therefore, element of the consciousness also not me. Keep that aside. Okay, now what is left? Nothing is left there. Where is that? Where is this person who identifies I, who seems to be so objectively independent of my mind? Now, independent of my mind, now you have come too close to this object. Where is the self? It is not really there. Okay, stay in this experience that it is not really there. Okay, that's amazing. This is very profound practice, profound meditation. But what's the benefit of this? Yes, this is what this experience, what the Buddha indicated as everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Where the self-esteem is empty. Well, what's the benefit of this? This benefit is amazing. You wouldn't believe that just as in this analysis, this self disappears, dissolves. You can subject your sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, all these subject to the same analysis, you see that they all dissolve. In other words, all the fears of life dissolve in this experience. It's amazing. The moment your tension dissolves, the mind feels a peace, extreme peace, ecstatic peace. This is what the Buddha identified as the cessation of transcending sorrow. You have transcended the sorrow and you experience the ultimate peace. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Okay, stay in this experience of the absolute peace, where all the fears of life dissolves. Okay, slowly come out of this practice, come out of this meditation. Now you realize that again the self comes back, everything comes back. Okay, so now we see that objectively you are convinced that this self does not exist objectively. But now it does appear to a mind now. So therefore it is just a mere appearance to the subject. From the object is empty, but from the subject it appears. Therefore it is referred to as the subjectively existent. Okay, so with this awareness, come out. Now we will switch to the Bodhicitta practice, which is the most important part. Okay, ready? So because of the constraint in time, we'll do the first 2 immeasurables, not all the 4. Okay. Reinforce the visualization of all the enlightened beings such as Buddha Shakyamuni in front of us. So loving, so caring, so embracing. Reinforce the visualization of your 2 parents around you, your children, your family members, and all sentient beings of all religions and all the ethnicities of all nationalities, human beings, animals, insects, the spirits, the hungry ghosts, hell beings, God and goddesses, everyone with you. And you are inspiring them to practice this unconditional love towards everybody. That you will see everyone as your brothers and sisters, not as your enemies. Okay, just follow the instruction the way we did earlier, and ruminate over the past experiences. Don't anticipate for anything of the future. Just be the present moment with respect to whatever instruction is given to you, and invoke the respective experiences. Okay, and you are leading this, and all sentient beings, they are joining you. Your parents are joining you, your children are joining you, your family members are joining you. Everyone is joining you in a spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood with unconditional love towards each other. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with suffering, endowed with happiness, and the causes of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of Bodhicitta. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the doing is such a courageous commitment, the intense happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars of very soothing lights to us, all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies of beings of yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of sentient beings yourself. And you've witnessed such a miraculous happening towards all the different sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the doing is such a courageous commitment, the intense happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies of beings yours frees the beings from frees the beings of the suffering and the cause of suffering. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the different sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all your dear sentient beings. Just visualize, imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient being, reassuring them that you are there. Have no fear. I'm there to take care of you. To the extent that each one of them feels himself so special in your eyes. Okay, with this in mind, with folded hands, we'll make the commitment, the Bodhicitta commitment. Just let us, I'll say this once, and then we'll all say this 3 times after that. And then some of you may feel that this very superficial. I don't really think it that way. It doesn't matter. This is how we have, everything has to be started with the superficiality. Practicing music, you practice it, Initially, there's no music coming out. It's just a very random sound, unpleasant sound coming up. And as you practice more and more, what I see as pure imitation, it becomes such a very natural flow of the music, so tender, melodious music. This is how our mind can be changed. And eventually, the first person to be the recipient of this benefit is yourself. This is a very powerful practice, so beautiful practice. Okay, I'll say this line of commitment. Let us all say this 3 times together, wholeheartedly, to the best you can. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Okay, stay in this most beautiful mind of compassion. The most beautiful mind which can potentially exist, which can possibly exist in this universe. And today you've generated this. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk. 1 inch or 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting in the heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, but how can you become a Buddha? No matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, all will never come out of that. Likewise, how can you know that you can achieve Buddhahood? Yes, I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds. You squeeze it and oil will come out of that. Likewise, after Buddha nature with me, a seed of perfection exists within everyone. Whatever religion that you're following, whatever gender that you exhibit, and whatever nationality you're from, whether you believe or non-believer, it doesn't matter. Everybody has this seed of perfection within themselves. If they put effort, they can become the full enlightened being, full awakened being, where you are equipped to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, so how can I achieve Buddhahood? Yes, just remove the mental defilements and your seed of perfection will manifest. And this, knowing that these mental defilements, like the gold when mixed with the soil, no matter what the nature of the gold is, when the soil is mixed with the gold, the glow will not happen. It doesn't mean that there's no gold there. It's simply because it's mixed with the soil. Likewise, the seed of perfection within us, seed of the ultimate happiness within us. But there is because it is mixed with the soil of the mental defilements, it does not glow. So they remove the soil and the gold will glow from inside. Likewise, remove the mental defilements and the gold inside us, the seed of perfection of ultimate happiness will manifest. Okay, how to remove the mental defilement? So knowing that mental defilement, it is rooted to the self-grasping ignorance and its subtle stains. Remove this by applying a very powerful remedy. What remedy? The wisdom of emptiness. To dispel the darkness, it is best done by introducing the light. Likewise, to remove the darkness of ignorance and the subtle stains, it is best done by the light of the wisdom. What kind of wisdom? Okay, quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which we meditated as the third seal of the 4 seals. Okay, very quick. What are you doing? I'm meditating. Okay, how does this person appear to you? As object real or like a dream? Object real. This is where you were going wrong. This is referred to self-grasping ignorance. In actuality, this self cannot be found objectively. It exists only subjectively. How do you know this? Objective, when you go to this object, we only see the 6 elements. Element earth, solid part of the body, element water, the blood, element fire, the body heat, element air, element space, element consciousness. And none of these 6 elements is I. True. Keeping aside these 6 elements, nothing is there as a self. That's true. So from the object, where is the self? It's not at all there. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, this is, it can be very gross for the time being. It doesn't matter if you are new to this practice. This is very gross, but if you're already exposed to the study, extensive study, reflection, meditation, emptiness, this is going to be very profound. So no matter what this experience is, just quickly transform this experience with emptiness into a spotlessly clean white vajra, thumb side white vajra, vertically sitting on the moon, just get your heart. It's amazing. Now you have the moon, symbolizing the conventional Bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the demon of the self-centered attitude. And the Vajra symbolizing the ultimate Bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains. So with this, it's guaranteed that all the metal stains, metal soil is going to be removed. And the golden side, the seed of perfection of the happiness is going to manifest. It's amazing. I'm so fortunate that today we are part of this, the ceremony of remembrance and the Bodhicitta day. It's amazing. We are so fortunate. But what about, yes, that's true. But what about my parents, all the family members, and all sentient beings who are suffering terribly? Look at the world. Everywhere there's fight happening in the name of religion, in the name of ethnicities, in the name of the political, the agendas, difference in the political agendas. All these problems are happening. This is all because of ignorance. So, how good that'll be that everybody experiences Vajra moon. Yes, we're going to share this with intense love and affection to all demon sentient beings. This love and affection invoke the Vajra moon at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajra moon at the heart of your mother, one side at the heart of your father, one side at the hearts of your children, your family members, everyone here in Delhi, everyone in the world, in India, world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and everyone in the entire universe, all sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, honey ghouls, hell beings, God, goddesses, spirits, everyone is amazing. Okay, let us not forget that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. They're like your parents. When the children, they do something so good in the school, they do something so good, the parents are so proud of you. This is exactly what all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are feeling today. They are so happy. Of course, why not we invite all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be the guest, to be the witness, to undertaking the ceremony of the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So as a gesture of requesting all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, very kind, affectionate Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, to be the witness and the guests to this ceremony. Let us all stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, those who feel not comfortable doing actual physical prostration, don't worry. Just with the hands folded, we can do 3 gestures of just bowing down. That is also prostration. When you do that, also visualize that all sentient beings are joining you. Okay, on your right knees, on those who have knee problem, then you sit in the most comfortable position. Otherwise, those who do not have knee problem, those who are fine, you can sit on your right knees. And in the process, so because it may take a little while, in the process, when you start feeling pain, knee pain, the discomfort happens, then sit in the most comfortable position. then, okay, in the process. Okay, let us turn to page 46, the last stanza. Okay, this is extremely precious, a great opportunity for us to engage in this practice. And you'll see that later on you'll realize that this is the greatest thing in your life, something which is so memorable, virtuously memorable, meaningfully memorable. This is going to be the occasion. So just imagine that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, just imagine that you are aged like age 4 or age 5, and then in your life, it is your first time you're making a public appearance for a dance performance or a drama performance or a song performance. It's your first time in your life. And then look at, because that is the first time in your life, your parents, how much excited your parents are. Your parents will just let go of whatever they have to do that day. They will make it a point that not to miss to attend to your program, to reassure you that they are there to be witness to what you're doing and to take pride in what you're doing here. This is exactly all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas they are doing today. Because that we are like the small children, and we are doing this something so virtuous. Perhaps some of us we have been doing this for several times. Otherwise, out of all these innumerable lifetimes, it is almost like the first time that we're doing. So therefore, this is what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they feel so happy and proud of you, with like just as the parents waving their hands to the young child. And the young child sees the parents there, you feel so reassured. This is exactly what is happening. Here in Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. And you, like the eldest child, you're encouraging all your siblings to take part in this program, and all the sentient beings, they are joining you. You are the eldest child, and also the sentient beings, they are like the small children who are younger than you. You are inspiring them. Okay, with this in mind, let us say this stanza. This stanza is so precious. This stanza is saying that I go for refuge to the Triple Gem, meaning that this is a journey, this is a very important journey, a journey of cleansing the mind. Thus far, we never thought about cleansing the mind. We only think about rectifying external factors. Now we realize that for the first time, we realize that problems can be solved by cleansing the mind, by rectifying own mind, not necessarily external factors. So with this in mind, this is the internal journey. This journey, because this is a very important journey, and therefore we need the greatest of support. So the greatest of support that we can think of is the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And this journey involves two things. One is that the road must be very clear. The way must be very clear, and the way is none other than your own mind. So your mind must be if the road is blocked by the boulders, the trees and so forth, then you cannot undertake the journey. Likewise, if a mind is blocked by the negativities, negative thoughts and so forth, then this journey will not happen. So we have to remove the mental blockage by confessing the negativities individually. And then while the road is very clear, but if the car does not have enough fuel, again, you cannot undertake the journey. The car must have enough fuel. The car is none other than your own mind, and the fuel is none other than the merits. So, the best way by which to accumulate the greatest of the merit and the virtues within a very short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. So, the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. So now the road is clear. You have a great support of the Triple Gem. The road is clear. Your car has enough fuel. So, what are you going to do? What kind of journey you're going to undertake? So, the journey of achieving the full awakening of this seat of perfection of happiness within myself, which technically is referred to as the Buddhahood. Buddha doesn't mean that you should be a Buddhist. It simply means Buddha means awakened one, the one who is awakened of all the mental defilements. So the fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, let us say this 3 times together, wholeheartedly. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 lines. The next two lines is the main ceremony. So in the process, if you feel a little painful, sit in the most comfortable way. Okay, the next two lines I'm going to explain it very quickly. The first line is pertaining to the enlightened ones, those who have already awakened their seat of perfection, referred as Buddhas. And the second line is pertaining to yourself. And how, for example, say, the one person, like Prince Siddhartha, young Prince Siddhartha, he became enlightened and he is able to benefit innumerable beings the last 2,500 years. How come that he is able to do that? It is through two factors. One, the motivation of Bodhicitta. And then number Bodhicitta meaning that I will become awakened to benefit all beings. Then to materialize this aspiration, then he engaged in the Bodhisattva activities, known as the 6 perfections plus the 4 perfections, meaning 10 perfections. Generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom. And then the 4, skillfulness, aspirational, the prayers, then the power, and the discriminatory wisdom. Okay, so with these, then he is able to achieve this full awakening, and because of which he is able to become like a sun to eradicate, to eliminate, to dispel the darkness of the whole universe. So likewise, if this is how he succeeded, why not me? Yes, the second stanza says you can also follow this full step. You can also generate this very powerful aspiration to be awakened to benefit all sentient beings, and to materialize this aspiration, you can engage in the Bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections and the 4 perfections. Okay, there's whole hasi, and you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, with great excitement, with great sense of jubilance, they are watching us. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the Bodhisattva practices. About in this courageous commitment of the Bodhicitta, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud of what you've done today. It is like the parents, the mother, for all these many years, the daughter, the son, they only bring embarrassment, complaints from the school, all these many years. And today, again, the school principal comes with the school teachers escorting her. And then again the mother is worried, apprehensive, again what kind of complaints coming. And school principal is very different this time. She comes with a smile, with so much of respect to the mother. And the mother becomes a little surprised. And the school principal congratulates the mother. What for? Your daughter and son, 2 of them are appointed as the best of the students of our school for this year. Congratulations to you. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what has happened to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas today. The mother is so happy. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so happy today from all these innumerable lifetimes. We always engaged in the negativities. We always engaged in bringing embarrassments to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the disgrace to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today you have done something which brings such a pride and happiness to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So this happiness and the pride of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas today, visualize that they invoke the Vajra moon at the hearts of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times. in barrage like rain shower. All these replicas of Vajra moon from the Buddha's Bodhisattva, they descend to merge for the one that you visualize with your heart, thereby stabilizing, becoming non-dual and blessed. Likewise, the innumerable, infinite number of the Vajra moons, the replicas of Vajra moons from the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, in barrage like rain shower, they descend to merge for the one that you visualize the heart of your mother, and the heart of your father, and the heart of each of one of your children. Everyone in this world, all the sentient beings in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. This is amazing. This is the greatest meaning of your life, and today you extracted this greatest meaning, and this is the greatest gift that you can possibly think of giving to all Buddhas, all the sentient beings, and today you gifted this. And this greatest of the offerings that you can potentially think of. The Buddha very clearly indicated that more so than the offering all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas with the whole universe filled with the gems, diamonds and so forth, more meritorious would be you to generate one moment of compassion towards all beings. And today you have generated the whole Bodhicitta, the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow that you've taken. This is so precious, this greatest gift that you are making today to all Buddhas Bodhisattvas. And this is all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas, again, along with all the eminent sentient beings, let us stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Sit comfortably. Okay, now page 47, the last stanza. This is the wonderful practice that we engage in now, the Bodhicitta practice. We are very fortunate that this life, we are able to have it, able to practice it. But then how can we say that this practice is something which I will meet again in my future lives? So of course we are not sure. So the best thing to do so is 2 things in our mind, 2 things to keep in mind. One is to be connected with this teaching in the future lives, to be connected, number 1. Then number 2 is once connected, then you rigorously engage in this practice. 2, connection is one thing. To build a connection, it is done through the very powerful prayers. And once you connected, it doesn't mean once you connected, automatically you will rigorously engage in. No, it will not happen. For example, say the amongst the Tibetans, Chinese, and then within the Himalayan belt, we see that there are so many people. But how many? They're already almost like 99% of these people. They're already connected with the teaching of the Bodhicitta and so forth. But how many of them are rigorously engaging, taking interest in this? So less. So therefore, connection is very important. Without a connection, even if you have this deep aspiration for such a practice, you will not know how to, you have no clue how to do that. Once connected, it doesn't guarantee that you will rigorously engage. How to connect it? Through very powerful prayers, which are going to include this in form of the stanza here, the last stanza. So let us wholeheartedly say these 3 times. In order to further increase it from now on, throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay, so now having connected, then the next point is how to make sure that my interest is like flaring so that I keep moving, improving my mind, and then finally all the mental developments are removed and that the seat of perfection is awakened. For that matter, we need to ignite the feeling of joy in the presence of Bodhicitta. So the following stanzas, they have to ignite the joy within us, kindle the joy. Okay, let's read this. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened mind in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I am one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence, is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the drawing moon of the mind that dispels the torment of the disturbing conceptions, is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience abundance of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in the supreme bliss today in the presence of all the protectors and by the world to be guests at a festival temple in ultimate delight. May gods, demigods and all be joyful. Okay, so now we do a quick Tsok offering. Tsok offering is the making offerings to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. For that matter, Tejala will do the where's the page number? Tsok offering. Directly on the Tsok offering side. Page 231. Okay, let us turn to page 231. Page 231. Okay, let's start.
Om Ahum, Om Ahum.
Intro of what we are doing here. Tsok offering is to accumulate merit. One way of accumulating merit. So this is for the people to know how that can be done. We can do it in your own house. In your own house, you can also do that on a smaller scale. What are you doing? This is a simple like representation. Okay, Tejala.
Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Pure clouds of outer, inner and secret offerings, objects that bind us closer and fields of vision, pervade the reaches of space, earth and sky, spreading out beyond the range of thought. In essence, they are pristine awareness. In aspect, the inner offering and the various objects of offering. Their function is to generate the extraordinary pristine awareness of emptiness and bliss as objects to be enjoyed by the six senses. Emaho, in the grand play of pristine awareness, all places are Vajra fields, and all structures majestic Vajra palaces, oceans of clouds of Samantabhadra offerings below forth. All objects are imbued with the glories of all wishes. All beings are actual Viras and Viranis. There is not even the word impurity or flaw. All is but infinitely pure. From a state of Dharmakaya in which all mental fabrications are stilled, on top of a turbulent wind and blazing fire, upon the crown of a tripod of 3 human heads, within a proper human skull cup, Om, the ingredients brilliantly appear one by one. Placed above them are Oma Hom, each sparkling with brilliant color. The wind becomes turbulent, fires flare, the ingredients melt, from their boiling tumble forth copious vapors. From the 3 letters, profusions of light rays radiate out in the 10 directions, drawing back the 3 vajras with nectars that dissolve individually into 3 letters. These melt with the nectar and blend with the ingredients, purifying, transforming, and increasing them. Emaho, becoming an ocean, glittering with the splendors of all that could be wished for. Oma Hum, Oma Hum, Oma Hum. O host of root and lineage gurus, yidams, a host of deities, 3 jewels of refuge, Viras, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and guardians of the teachings, I request you who are in the nature of compassion to appear and come to this offering site. Place your radiant feet firmly upon this elegant throne formed of jewels, amidst an ocean of clouds of outer, inner, and secret offerings. Grant us who are striving in the supreme realization the powerful attainments that we all wish for. Oh, this ocean-like Tsok offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Mudra, we offer in order to please you, hosts of root and lineage gurus. Oma Hom, contented by your sport with all the splendors that could be wished for. Ema Ho, please let fall a great rain of blessings, blessed by concentration, Mantra, and Mudra. This ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of root and lineage gurus, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of blessings, blessed by concentration, Mantra, and Mudra. This ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of yidams, deities, and attendants, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of powerful accomplishments, blessed by concentration, Mantra, and Mudra. This ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of the most precious jewels, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, great rain of the holy Dharma, blessed by concentration, Mantra, and Mudra. This ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of Dakinis and Dharma protectors, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of virtuous deeds, blessed by concentration, Mantra, and Mudra. This ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of mother sentient beings, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please let delusive appearances and suffering be allayed. Offering the Tsok to the Master. Look, Venerable, a great circle of Tsok. You have followed in the track of the Sugatas of the 3 times and are the source of all powerful attainments. Since we realize this, O great hero, who has forsaken the conceptualizing mind, please enjoy continuously the circle of Tsok. La la ho. Very good. So reply. With nature inseparable from the 3 vajras, I visualize myself as a Guru Yidam, this nectar of immaculate wisdom knowledge. Without stirring from Bodhicitta, I drink to satisfy the deities dwelling in my body. What great bliss!
Some of you already know this. The first one is the nectar. Nectar in the form of, what we have is black tea, sweetened black tea. So that is already blessed. So we take it. As we take it, the idea is we take it, and then you taste the sweetness, so that visualize that you're experiencing the bliss. And with this bliss, use this bliss to see the emptiness nature. If whatever little experience of emptiness that you have, whatever little experience of emptiness that you have, you try to think about emptiness through this mind experiencing the bliss. Okay, likewise what Milind has is the reasons, that is the to be seen as the very powerful spiritual, the substance to cleanse the bodily constituencies, so that your practice of Dharma can become so well. Again, you take it, you experience a bliss, and with this bliss, then you think about the emptiness. So this is a basic idea. Emptiness meaning that what we have meditated earlier. So when you go deep inside us, we see that we are just made of the 6 elements. Nowhere we find the 6 elements. What you see is just a perception. Beyond this, it's not really the air. This one perfect. How different? This is so. Amada, peş. Okay, then we continue reading from page 235. Tejala will read this, and then the solicitude. Okay, just listen. Don't be too excited. Okay, just listen. And after taking a part of the Tsok. Tsok means the edibles here. You eat a little bit of it, and so basically it's yours. And then after this, a little portion, a small portion which is to be seen as the leftover. From there, somebody is going to, Putila is going to come to pick up the leftovers. So you can give a part of what is left. From there, a part of it you give to Putila and the Aryan, 2 of you.
Only Putila. Putila.
Only 2 can do. Putila and Lotusla, 2 of you will go down to collect the leftovers. So from your part, you have eaten something, and from what is left from there, give a part, a small part. And some people, they think that what I've eaten, what I've bitten, from there I have to give it. No. You can give from what is left there. From there, give a small part. So that is for the local spirits. Local spirits, it is their share. And then the local spirits, they because of some karmic thing, they cannot really directly experience these, so they can experience only in the form of the leftovers. Okay, so you can give the leftovers.
We'll read from page 235, verse 71. All Tathagata Buddhas, Veera heroes, yoginis, dakas and dakinis, to all of you I make this request. O Heruka, who delights in supreme bliss and who attends the mudra experiencing bliss, please, by enjoying yourself in accordance with the rites, with simultaneous bliss and emptiness, may the hosts of stainless dakinis look with loving compassion and accomplish all deeds, whom we may make our request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Veeras, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis. Yoginis dance with enchanting, soothing movements, the protector so exceedingly to please. Multitudes of Dakinis come before us and bless us, bestow upon us innate great bliss. Ah la 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 ho, ai ara li ho. You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon us with love, bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make our request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Veeras, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis, the great bliss that is possessed of liberating qualities, the great bliss without which freedom cannot be gained in one life. One endures many asceticisms. The great bliss abides within the center of the Supreme Lotus.
La 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 ho, aye ara le ho. You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Veeras, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis. Just as the lotus born out of the mud, great bliss, though born out of desire, is unsullied by its faults. O Supreme Yoginis, by the bliss of your lotus, may the bonds of samsara be quickly untied. Ah la 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 ho, aye ara le ho. You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make our request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Veeras, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis, like a swarm of beings drawn for the nectar of flowers, may we likewise be satiated by the captivating nectar of the immature lotus, possessing 6 qualities. La 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 ho, aye ara le ho. You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis,
look upon us with love.
Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom impure, deceptive appearances become purified in the sphere of voidness. This magnificent nectar, created out of pristine awareness, Om becomes a vast ocean of all desired things. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. Okay, where is the leftover sauce? Wangela, Kishus, Solak Tsukisund. Sola Hachin Kira. Sola de King or Tan Sola Dan Remevan. It is not to be carried at this point. Geshe Geshe Mar, Sola Haji Markitur. Sükişler. Süküşlerin sürü. Taki de tsukish. Yang la bar gore pu gore khoir. Yeah. Lord will bring the nectar. Yeah. Tejala, if possible, put it on the biscuit, otherwise it will melt. On a biscuit box, it will be more stable. Yeah, Tejala, come. Yeah, Sukish. Okay. I didn't hold this Tejala, go down. I didn't hold it. We hold this for time, so till I tell you to leave, Tejala. Yama Kishula, Kama Kunimatida. Okay, Tejala, we begin. Offering the remaining song here.
Ho, this ocean of remaining Tsok of
Page
uncontaminated. 237, verse 77. Sorry. Ho, this ocean of remaining Tsok of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra and Mudra,
we offer to please you, hosts of oath-bound realm protectors, Om Ahom, contented by your sport with all the splendors that could be wished for. Em Aho, please accomplish the virtuous conduct of the yogi's path as you have pledged.
Ho, by offering this ocean of remaining Tsok to the guests who are left together with their entourage, may the precious teachings proliferate, may the upholders of the teachings, the offering patrons, together with their entourage, and especially we yogis, all gain freedom from sickness, a long life, fame, good fortune, and abundant wealth as wished for. Bestow on us the powerful attainments of actions, such as pacification, increase, and so forth. O oath-bound protectors, protect us. Help us obtain all powerful attainments. Make us meet no untimely death, sickness, demons, or interfering spirits. See that we have no bad dreams, ill omens, or calamities. May we have worldly happiness, good crops and harvest. May the dharma flourish, all goodness and joy come about, and may all the wishes in our minds be fulfilled. And by the force of this bountiful giving, may I become a self-evolved Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. And by this gesture of generosity, may I liberate the multitudes of beings who are not liberated by the Buddhas of the past. O holy and venerable Gurus, supreme field of merit, inspire me to make offerings and devoted respects to you, O protectors and root of all well-being, that I may come under your joyous care. Inspire me to realize how this opportune and fortunate rebirth is rare, found but once and quickly lost, and thereby undistracted by the meaningless works of this life. Seize this meaningful essence. Afraid as I am of the searing blaze
waves of suffering in the lower realms. Inspire me to take heartfelt refuge in the three precious gems, and to fervently strive at avoiding non-virtue and accomplishing all collections of virtue. Violently tossed as I am by waves of delusions and karmas, plagued by hordes of sea monsters, the three sufferings, inspire me to develop an intense longing to be free of this dreadful, boundless, great ocean of existence. I have abandoned the view that sees this unbearable prison of cyclic existence as a pleasurable grove. Inspire me to train in the three trainings, the store of the Arya's treasures, and thereby uphold the banner of liberation. I have considered how all these tormented beings are my mothers who have kindly cared for me again and again. Inspire me to develop unfeigned compassion like that of a loving mother for her precious child, as no one desires even the slightest suffering, nor ever has enough happiness. There is no difference between myself and others. Therefore, inspire me to rejoice when others are happy. This chronic disease of cherishing myself is the cause of unwanted suffering. Perceiving this, may I be inspired to blame, begrudge, and destroy this monstrous demon of self-cherishing. Cherishing my mothers and seeking to secure them in bliss is the gateway to infinite virtues. Seeing this, may I be inspired to hold them dearer than my life, even should they arise as my enemies. In brief, infantile beings labor for their own gain alone, while the Buddhas work solely for others. Understanding the distinction between their virtues, may I be inspired to be able to exchange myself for others. Cherishing myself is the doorway to all downfalls, while cherishing my mothers is the foundation of everything good. Inspire me to make the core of my practice the yoga of exchanging myself for others. Therefore, O Venerable Compassionate Gurus, bless me so that all karmic obscurations and sufferings of mothers migrators may ripen upon me right now, and that I may give others my happiness and virtuous deeds, in order that all sentient beings have happiness. Though the world and the beings therein are full of the fruits of evil, and undesired suffering shower upon me like rain, inspire me to see them as a means to exhaust the results of negative karma, and to take these miserable conditions as a path. In short, no matter what appearances may arise, be they good or bad, inspire me to take them into a path enhancing the two Bodhicittas, through the practice of the five forces, the essence of the entire dharma, and thus enjoy only a mind of happiness. Inspire me to immediately conjoin with meditation whatever I encounter, by the skillful means of having the four applications, and to make this opportune rebirth worthwhile by practicing the advice and commitments of mind training, so that I may rescue all beings from the vast ocean of becoming. Inspire me to master true Bodhicitta through love, compassion, and the superior intention, conjoined with the technique of mounting, taking, and giving upon the breath. Inspire me to eagerly strive in the practice of the three moralities of the Mahayana, and to bind my mind stream with the pure Bodhisattva vow, the single path journeyed by victorious ones of the three times. Inspire me to transform my body, wealth, and virtues of the three times into the objects desired by each sentient being, and through the advice of the enhancing detached giving, complete the perfection of generosity. Inspire me to complete the perfection of moral conduct by working for sentient beings, accumulating virtuous qualities, and not transgressing the bounds of pratimoksha, bodhicitta, or tantric vows, even at the cost of my life. Should all 9 types of beings of the three realms become angry at me, abuse, upbraid, threaten, or even kill me, inspire me to complete the perfection of patience, and undisturbed work for their benefit in response to their harm. Even if I must remain in the fires of Avicii for an ocean of eons for the sake of each sentient being, inspire me to complete the perfection of joyous effort, and through compassion to strive for supreme enlightenment, by avoiding the faults of dullness, agitation, and distraction,
unpointed concentration set on the mode of existence of all phenomena, emptiness of true existence, inspire me to complete the perfection of concentration through the wisdom discriminating suchness, conjoined with the induced tranquility and great bliss. Inspire me to complete the perfection of wisdom through the space-like yoga absorbed on the ultimate truth. Inspire me to perfect the illusion-like concentration by realizing how all outer and inner phenomena lack true existence, yet still appear like illusions, dreams, or the moon's reflection in a still lake. Samsara and nirvana have not an atom of true existence, while dependent arising by cause and effect is non-deceptive. Inspire me to realize the import of Nagarjuna's thought that these two are not contradictory but complementary. Then, through the kindness of my helmsman Vajradhara, inspire me to cross the labyrinthine ocean of Tantra by holding my vows and pledges, the root of siddhis dearer than my life. Inspire me to cleanse all stains of attachment to ordinary appearance through the first stage yoga of transforming birth, death, and bhardo into the conqueror's three bodies, and to see all that appears as the deity. Setting your feet, O protector, upon the 8 petals of my heart, within the central channel, inspire me to actualize the path uniting clear light and illusory body in this very lifetime. Should I not have completed the points of the path at the time of death, inspire me that I may reach a pure land by either the instructions on applying the 5 paths or the fourfold means to enlightenment, the Guru's transference. In short, O protector, inspire me that I may be cared for by you inseparably in all my future lives and become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O protector, please grant me the good fortune to be the very foremost of your retinue wherever you manifest Buddhahood, and that all my temporal and ultimate wishes and deeds be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. Having been thus entreated, pray grant this request, O Supreme Gurus, so that you might bless me, happily alight on the crown of my head, and once again set your radiant feet firmly on the corolla of my heart lotus. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the aims and deeds of Buddhas and their children of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the great vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. Through the excellence of whatever white virtues there are in samsara and nirvana, may all be auspicious for us to be free here and now from all misfortune and hardship, and thus enjoy a glorious and perfect celestial treasure of temporal and ultimate virtue and goodness. May all be auspicious for the Buddha teaching to long endure. Through your centers of dharma, omniscient Losang Drakpa, being filled with hosts of monks and yogis, striving single-pointedly to master the 3 pure trainings, having requested your blessing, Losang Drakpa, who from the time of your youth made request to the Supreme Guru Yidam, may all be auspicious for you, Losang Vajradhara, spontaneously to grant the wishes of others. May all be auspicious for all our desired endowments to swell like the lake in the summer rains, bringing an unbroken flow of rebirths of leisure in faultless families, so that we may pass our days and nights with your holy dharma, O Losang, and thus delight in the glories of perfection by the collection of whatever virtuous deeds others and I have done and shall do from now until enlightenment. May all be auspicious, O Holy Venerable One, for your body of form to remain in this land immutable like a Vajra.
Okay, let us turn to page 49, the dedication prayer. Okay, so the virtues that we generated here on the Gandhi Jayanti, which corresponds to the ceremony of remembrance of Tibet House, and we have taken the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, which is so precious, and in our life we see that something which is good that we did, which is so memorable and meaningful, is what we did today. So this is so virtuous, and let us the dedication that we are saying here, let us pray that in the first place we think of the larger good, the harmony of the world, that in this country and in the neighboring countries, and then, for example, what is happening in Hong Kong, what is happening in America, what is happening in Korea. So there, let us pray that all these conflicts, unnecessary killing the innocent people, all these dissolve. Let us pray for that. And so, at the same time, practically speaking, in what way it can help is we are not sure whether our prayers will really actually subdue these problems, but for sure what we need to think of is that what I can do to contribute to the welfare and harmony of the world, what I can do. So I can influence others, people who are around me, if I can talk something nicely. If there are people talking badly about the other religions or other people or the other ethnicities and so forth, that let them talk nicely. This is how we can influence them. For you to be able to influence them, your mind should be more calm and tender. Your mind should be able to see the whole world as brothers and sisters. So keep in mind that finally the change must happen from myself. With this in mind, meanwhile, I'll try my best in whatever capacity to bring influence in the world and to pray that the world be a better place where all the problems are necessarily going through killings and because of which the family broken up, children becoming orphan and parents losing their children is all extremely sad. If these things happen to us, to the people, the perpetrator, the same pain is there. So let us pray that whole world will find a better place, that the harmony is there in this world. All the problem, the power of the wicked dissolves, and the power of the good, the power of the kindness spreads and become dominant. Okay, with this in mind, let us do the annotation prayer together on page 49. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, Bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. From my two collections, from working with after this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom, eyes blinded by ignorance.
Hello everyone, I'm newly joined in Tibet House on the post of publication in charge and museum in charge. So thank you everyone.
Your name?
I'm Damdul. So thank you everyone today for joining this precious program. So here we have ready for the refreshment at the left side of this conference hall. So kindly join it there. Thank you so much.
Please, I have a very quick announcement. On 19th of October, which is a Saturday, we are having a public teaching by Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul. It's called Managing Emotions in Your Daily Life. It's being hosted by Kamal Singh and their family, and the venue is just next to Khan Market. It starts at 9:30 a.m. There are refreshments, and from 10 to 12 is the teaching.